Welcome back to my channel, Mostly Paper Crafts. It's Christmas Eve, but I am here to share with you my review of the Spellbinders Crafty Advent Calendar and to show you my projects. So I have been sharing little shorts each day in December, showing all the different things that were inside. So I opened them up each day, and I actually did that each day. Each morning I would get up, take care of the dogs, and open up the door and make a card. But I shared those on my shorts. There's a little playlist if you want to see those. But here I'm going to show you in one video all the stuff that was in the calendar and 24 cards that I made using what was inside. I was able to get most of it into the frame here. I'm going to start with the non-dies first. We got 2 embossing folders, 2 sets of layering stencils. This one is my favorite. So these are florals. There's leaves, stems, and flowers. And the other one is a circle pattern. So there's 3 layers again. We have a small, medium, and large circles. We got 3 packs of sequins, and these are all shiny, pretty, no holes in the middle, and they come in 2 sizes each. Very cool. There were 3 stamp sets. Let me grab something to back these with. This was the first one, Thinking of You. And then all of these little flowers were just beautiful to stamp around. For some of my cards, I use them to create a pattern background. And for some of them, I actually fussy cut these out and then layer them together to create little bouquets. We also got Make a Wish, because you're awesome. Until further notice, celebrate everything and spoil yourself, it's on me. And one more stamp set. Congratulations, I'm so thrilled for you. There's so much to celebrate and you deserve this. Okay, then we got 14 die sets. Now I have them all together on one sheet so you can see them all together and decide for yourself if there's enough value in this calendar for you to consider ordering it next year. Of course, it's sold out for this year and the advent season is over. But there were 3 stamp sets, 3 sequin sets, 2 embossing folders, 2 sets of layering stencils, and then the 14 die sets. So we'll take a closer look at these. All right, so we have 3 different sentiment sets here. We have Happy Birthday, For You, and Thank You. They're all in different fonts, and they all came with shadow dies, which is really great. And I said different fonts. These 2 are both script, so they're pretty similar to each other. But then there are also 3 more sentiments here that came with a banner die. So you can cut this banner out with or without one of those little sentiments in there. And then there's a tail piece, and you can use it on both sides of that banner to give it some dimension. We got this border die down here and a detail piece. There was a funny little gnome guy with some accessories. He has this star balloon, a cute little birdie. That also came with a flower. We got a heart, and then this inside piece cuts sort of a sunshine with rays, so you can use these together or separate. You can even create a little heart frame with that. Our day 1 was this mailbox. This one has another sentiment here for you, which you can use or not, as well as a couple of little detail pieces. This one is to create an envelope. There's a little heart, a handle, and a piece to accent the flap on this mailbox, which does open. It has a score line here and then cutting lines here. Okay, next we have some nesting dies in an arch. I thought this was clever since many card makers probably already have a bunch of nesting dies, but maybe not the arch. You know, it's a little less popular than, say, a circle or an oval. We did get a couple of flower dies. So this set has these 4 pieces here. And so these pieces cut out in frames. And then there's different ways you can layer them together with this bigger petal piece here. And then this is our center. Lots of different options and possibilities for that one. My favorite die set was the first floral set we got, which has these flowers and centers here, as well as this one and this leaf, and then these two little flowers which layer onto this one. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces, and those coordinated really nicely with that first stamp set, the Thinking of You one. Very similar flowers there. They worked really well together, and they were just beautiful on their own too. There's another floral stamp, or excuse me, another floral die set. It was these two pieces here, which complement each other very nicely. So there's long stems, leaves, and then there is a piece that cuts all 3 of the flowers at once, which is this one right here. So these layer onto those and create beautiful little flowers with stems and leaves. And oh, I didn't mention the truck. So the last day was this truck. It has wheels, and it also came with a big gift with a bow. And I believe that is the 14th die set. So tons of dies here. I paid about $50 total, including shipping, because I did have a coupon for the calendar, which makes each item about $2. So 24 items, $50. It's just a little over $2 each, and I definitely thought this was worthwhile. All right, so on day 1, we got this awesome mailbox and envelope die, but we didn't have anything else yet, and I was really trying to limit what I was using to the products in the calendar. But I did pull out a piece of Spellbinders pattern paper for my background here, keeping it pretty simple. And as the days progressed, I do try to combine as many of the elements as possible into each card. On day 2, we got that stamp set. It created a little floral scene, added a couple of different colored mats there. Next, we got that fancy border die and that detail piece. So I added those in here, but you can see I also used that Thinking of You stamp set with those florals. And then I went back later and I added some die cuts using a die set that we got a little bit later. I love the look of these stamps as pattern paper, so I used them again on my next card. Here we got that Happy Birthday die set, and then I also used that border die on some vellum just to add another element to this card. Next up, we got our first embossing folder, and I used that to create this alternating background for this simple happy birthday card. I may go back and add some embellishments still to this one. Another happy birthday card for the next day. I used a lot of different elements here. The new one that day was this cute little gnome, so of course he's featured. And then this is a Spellbinders pattern paper in the background. Then we got our first layering stencil, and I created sort of an artistic scene here using some circle punches and again that Thinking of You stamp. That got used a lot at the beginning of the month. A congratulations card comes next. This day we had received this beautiful heart die, and I kept it all on that metallic paper. You can see I used the layering stencil, that floral stamp set, and then I went back later and I added this banner with a congratulations sentiment to finish that off. A lot of those same elements were used the next day when we got our first shaker pack. So I made a shaker card using, again, that congratulations sentiment and this beautiful layered banner, which I did add after the fact because we didn't get that until a little bit later in the calendar. One of my favorite products from this calendar is this floral die set, and I added it to the mailbox from day 1 and the happy birthday dies for this cute little card. We got another embossing folder, which I used for the background on this one. And actually, gosh, now I can't remember. I think maybe this day the new product was this banner die. No, I don't remember. 24 days and they're all starting to run together. I also have a Make-A-Wish card. I believe that is what was new this day, and I've got my cute little gnome here again. I used that heart die and some elements from the gnome kit to create my cute little scene here. I love this cute little birdie. On this day, I believe the new product was these florals. Of course, I've got my heart there and that thinking of you stamp. I added dimension to a lot of my cards, and I think that really helps bring them to life. The stack is getting pretty big, so I'm going to scoot it over to the side a little bit. I think this day was that new embossing folder that you can see in the background there. And again, I used those floral dies. They're just so pretty. And I combined both days of floral dies for this card. And thinking of you. Again, I wonder how many of my cards say thinking of you. We got another word die set, so for you with its shadows. I used the shadows to cut out part of my background here, as well as that heart die, which I use many times, and those florals again, just for a little bit of a different look. And I used the For You dies the next day too. This was the most complicated card I made, I think. I used my arch frames to not only cut out the centers, but also I had to measure to create these layers so that you would be able to see the colors in an even layer around the outside as well as on the inside. So I thought that was really interesting, but probably more work than it was worth. We got more sequins the next day, so I have another shaker card. This one is a happy birthday. I used my shadow dies to cut out the windows for my shakers, as well as some stars from the gnome day. One of my other favorites from the calendar was that layering stencil with the florals. Thought this was beautiful. I used this banner a lot too. This one says sending hugs, and I think that looks really nice cut out of metallic cardstock. We got these petal dies and their layers, but I only used the big petals and the big centers to create half a flower at the top and half a flower at the bottom. I also used some of the other circles that I could cut out using that set and some of those blue sequins and the embossing folder and the For You for this card. So lots of the calendar elements used on this one. Then we got another sequin set. So we were up to 3 now, and I decided to do a 3-well shaker. For my windows, I used my cute little bird die. I've also got the happy birthday dies. These are all stacked up for some dimension there. I said in my little short, I wish it said happy birthday. I still do, but I think it's still pretty cute. All right, we're getting near the end. I know this was day 23, and we got these thank you word dies. We did receive the shadows as well, but I just wanted to use the script here. I also used my 3-piece layering stencil with those florals, and I cut out both pieces of my heart to create a metallic frame there. These tiny little hearts are from day 1. They went with the envelopes and that mailbox, and I think that they are the perfect little embellishment to finish this off. All right, day 24, the truck. We all knew we were getting the truck because it was pictured on the back of the box. Nevertheless, was excited to get it. I did lots of details on that, lots of layers, and I stacked up 3 presents. Tons of different elements from the calendar were used here. Of course, I've got a sentiment. This is from the banner die. I just didn't use the tails. These puffy clouds are flowers. This circle is from that big petal day. And then we also have an arch in the background. So lots of different pieces to create this little scene. Now that was day 24, but I wanted to have 24 cards, and there were a couple of days that I skipped. One because I had a horrible migraine, and one because I was just adding elements to a card I'd already finished. So I have 2 more cards for you. This is a For You. My different colored blocks here are cut out using the frames from the nesting arches, and they're actually the pieces that were left over from this card. So I just layered them around and then cut out that panel, added some sequins, and you can see my For You in there. I used this shadow die to cut out of my background and put the pink behind. layered my letters on top, and there you go. And my last card is very simple, but it's a thank you card. And I actually, this piece was a scrap from day 23. I lost it. But the way that the scrap was cut out, I was like, oh, this is just perfect. So I actually cut it into kind of a wonky rectangle, and then I matted it on white, and then I matted it on metallic, and then I matted it on white again, popped it up on some foam, and I think this is a beautiful, simple thank you card. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got some inspiration. If you purchase this calendar yourself, I hope that you will have as much fun with it and create as many projects with it as I did. If you'd like to see me create even more with this calendar, please let me know in the comments below. If you really liked this, I hope that you will pick it up next year. I know I certainly will be, and I will be back for another 24-part series then. Hope you have a wonderful day and go make something beautiful.